The Boho Hobo bag is super easy knitting at its best and makes a wonderful gift. Outside you will find a huge phone pocket. Inside you will find a key keeper. Although there is only one main bag section, you have two different strap options. So pick your favorite and go for it. In this video, I'm demonstrating variation 1. Because it is felted, no lining is necessary. As for the yarn, Jagger Spun 100% wool felts like a dream. Or you can substitute 100% wool yarn somewhere between a fingering and a sport weight. The companion pattern is available by following the link in the description below. We have to do some preliminary work first. So first I'm going to make a pocket that I'm going to put on the bag, and I'm going to make the pocket striped. First off, pull 30 needles out right of 0. In this particular case, we can just E-wrap or cast on just about any way you want, but with the yarn so that we have a closed cast on. So I'm going to quickly do a closed cast on. Black is my accent color, so I'm going to start with black so that the bottom edge of the pocket is black, and I'm going to end with black. I am going to hang my cast on comb because I don't want that riding off on me. And 30 stitches works really nice with this little cast on comb. My tension on my carriage is set to 10. I'm on plain knitting, knit in both directions. My row counter is at 0. So I'm going to knit. That was fun. I'm going to tie down the E-wrap. 2, 3, and 4. And now I'm going to burgundy. Now, before I move on with this, I'm going to take the black strand on the end over here. I'm going to pull out a few stitches, and I'm going to weave that end in. Now, I could have done it on the first or second row, no problem, but I wanted to just, it doesn't matter that it's riding up the edge because we're going to be felting this anyway, but I just want to get rid of the yarn tails so I don't have any extra stuff hanging around. Color. So on my burgundy, I'm going to knit 4 more rows. And once again, before I finish that last row, get rid of the yarn tail. Okay, so I'm on to row 4. And I'm going to continue to exchange these colors every 4 rows until I have 52 rows. I want to end on the black. I want to have a nice firm edge when I'm all done, so I'm just going to pull all these needles out to hold, and I'm going to just latch off around the gate peg. With the contrasting color, E-wrap 5 needles and knit 32 rows. Pull all your needles out, push your stitches behind the latches, and just pop them off. What we're going to do is we're going to start the main part of the bag. So I'm going to pull 30 needles out right of 0 because I want to be on this side of the bed just like before. I'm going to do a quick E-wrap around these needles. Hang my cast on comb, which happens to fit the 30 perfectly. Isn't that nice? My carriage is set to tension 10. My row counter is 0. And knit, knit in both directions. Okay, very simple pattern. Okay, knit across 1 row. There we go. So now we have it. Now I'm going to pull these needles out because I'm going to do the same thing that I can do and get rid of the end. Knit 3 rows more. 2, 3. Now I'm going to start shaping. On the center edge, okay, I'm going to start decreasing 1 stitch with my 3-prong tool. The 3-prong tool gives you a nice edge when you're felting. And I'm going to add my weights because my cast on comb is already starting to fall off. And I'm going to knit 4 rows. On the same edge, I'm going to take another decrease. So I'm taking one decrease every 4 rows 2 times. Decrease. Now I'm going to knit 4 more rows. Okay, now I'm going to continue to decrease just a few more, but I'm going to do 1 every 2 rows 4 times. So that's my last decrease, and I still have 24 in work. I'm going to reset. I'm at row 18 when I did the last decrease. I'm going to reset my counter to 0 because this is where I want to knit 300 rows. So let's go. Now we are going to do the increases. With the 3 eyelet transfer tool, pick up 3 stitches on the left and move it over 1 stitch to the left. Fill the empty needle by picking up the bump on an adjacent stitch. Work 1 increase every 2 rows 4 times, then 1 increase every 4 rows 2 times. That brings us back to a total of 30 stitches in work. And we're going to do 1 more row because I want my yarn on this side of the piece, and I don't need to have to break it. So now I just have to bring out 30 stitches on this half. And since my yarn is already conveniently waiting for me, all I have to do is do an E-wrap from right to left. And that's done by coming up under the needle that you want to put a stitch on and bring it to the right and between those next 2 needles. And once again, I want to do it as loose as I can. Now, you definitely want to hang your cast-on comb over these stitches. Let's go over here a little bit. I don't want to catch too much on that end. There we go. Make sure we have it up. Now, I'm going to reset my row counter because we're beginning the body of the purse now. We just need to knit 57 rows. Okay, there's my 57 rows. Now we begin decreasing again. We are going to decrease 1 each side every other row 10 times. That will leave us 20 needles right and left of 0 with stitches. That's a total of 40 needles in working position. Just like we did before, we'll use the 3-prong tool to form full-fashioned decreases. I'll meet you when the decreases are finished. That was my last decrease, but I still need to knit my 2 rows. That's my 2. Now I'm going to knit 8 rows more. Now we are going to begin increasing again. Increase 1 each side every other row 10 times. That will leave us 30 needles right and left of 0 with stitches. That's 60 needles in work position when you're all done. Just as before, use the 3-prong tool and make sure to fill the empty needle with the bump from an adjacent needle. What this shaping does is it gives you a curved shape on the bottom of the purse, plus a base, and I'll show you that when we go just before we felt it. And I'll meet you when we get these increases done. We just finished the increases. Reset the row counter, and we are going to knit 52 rows. Attach the key keeper by hanging stitches from both of its ends, starting with the 3rd needle on the right. You can also sew it in place later if you forget. I'm going to push them like that, and I'm going to very carefully knit this next row. Now I'm going to finish my next 3 rows, and then we're ready for the next part. The main section is done. We will bind off the right 30 stitches around the gate pegs. Since we will be starting the short strap with a contrasting color on the remaining 30 needles, we can cut the yarn. We are going to take and lift it right off the gate pegs, just so it doesn't get in the way. We're just going to thread up with our contrasting color. Now I'm going to reset back to 0 again. I'm going to knit 2 rows to start. Now I will begin decreasing on the right edge. Just as before, use the 3-prong tool to make full fashion decreases. I'm going to decrease 1 stitch every other row 6 times, so I'm down to 24 again. Now I'm going to bring these out and once again get rid of this yarn tail. This is a little bit different than the other side of the strap. 1, 2. We are at our 24 and we are on row counter 12. Now I'm going to knit 24 rows. Now it's time to increase 1 stitch every other row 6 times to get back up to 30 stitches. Just as before, use the 3-prong tool and make sure to fill the empty needle with a bump from an adjacent stitch. I've just done my 30. I'm at row counter 48. Just as I did before, I'm going to bind off around the gate pegs. One more time. Bring all my needles out to hold. Get myself in position, and I'm cooking. You want to do it relatively loosely. When you get to the end, leave a 16-inch yarn tail for later use. This is version 1 and this is version 2. This one's not been felted yet. This one's been felted. But the real difference between it is how the strap is attached. For variation 1, the loose end of the long strap is sewn to the front side of the bag. On the back, the other end was knit in place. Likewise, the short strap has been knit onto the front of the bag and then sewn to the back of the bag. For variation 2, both ends of the short strap are attached to the front side of the bag, while both the long straps are attached to the back side of the bag. In addition, when seaming the variation 2, I like to stitch together the center side edges of the long straps about 4 inches. Then seam the center side edges of the short strap about 1 inch. And that is so that when this is felted, this will be a little tighter opening, and on the back, this little part will be hidden by the felting, and it'll be neater and more secure. You can't do it on this one because when you do and join this strap comes through like that. And so you're going to have this little bit of opening on both the front and the back. Now let's prepare our bag for felting. Whip stitch the straps in place for either variation 1 or 2. If you choose variation 2, also stitch up the center seams 4 inches on the long strap and 1 inch on the short strap. Use the running stitch to sew the side seams together. Match the markers on the sides. When you get to the bottom corner, you will want to add depth and shaping. Here's how. Bring my yarn up about 1 inch from the end, maybe 1 1/4 inches, just along the seam line. And then I take this end and I pull it out like so. And I want to make sure that it's squared off with the bottom edge also. So I pull it out. So all I'm doing is stitching a little triangle shape in this corner. And then I'm going to stitch back again. All right, and that'll be on the inside. So now I can trim my end, give it a 1/2 inch little tail. It'll felt right in. Then I'm going to go to the other side, the base, and do the exact same thing. If you did not secure the key holder while you knit, you can stitch it into place now. Position the pocket with the bottom edge aligned with the last row of shaping toward the bottom of the bag. It should also be horizontally centered. As a precaution, if I've already seamed the sides, I insert a piece of cardboard inside the bag so that I don't accidentally catch the back of the bag. I find the mattress stitch or a whip stitch works well to attach the pocket. We are ready to felt. I documented the felting process in my other video, How to Felt Without a Washing Machine. Thank you for watching this video. Please take a moment to subscribe and ring the bell to receive notifications of upcoming videos and events. Happy machine knitting!